You thought it was just aging. That fading desire, the silence in the bedroom, the feeling of being invisible, all part of getting older. But what if the real reason has nothing to do with your age and everything to do with what no one ever told you? Why do so many people assume that intimacy fades simply because of age? At first glance, it seems to make sense. Hormones shift, energy dips, and life gets more complicated. But what if the real reason for lost intimacy isn't aging but disconnection? You see, intimacy doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins in the mind, in how we see ourselves, in how safe we feel to express closeness, vulnerability, desire. After 60, many people, both men and women, start to believe a dangerous lie. That part of life is over. But the truth is, it's not age that closes the door, it's the stories we tell ourselves. We live in a culture that idolizes youth, that treats wrinkles as something to hide, that whispers, "You're too old for that," when you feel the stirrings of attraction or longing. And over time, we internalize it. We stop reaching out. We stop asking for affection. We stop allowing ourselves to want. But here's what science and life has shown us again and again. Intimacy doesn't have an expiration date. It evolves, it deepens, it becomes something more honest, more rooted in trust and presence. And yet, it does require something from us. Not just hope, not just waiting, but a willingness to shift how we connect with others and with ourselves. If you've been feeling distant, numb, or simply not like yourself, it's not too late. What you're experiencing is not a failure, it's a signal that your body and heart want to reconnect. And in the next chapter, we'll explore exactly how to begin that process with gentleness, with respect, and with the knowledge that it's never too late to feel close again. The truth is, desire doesn't simply vanish with age. It fades when key systems in the body begin to shift, and often, these shifts are subtle. You may not notice them right away, but over time, they build up like dust on a window. You still see the light, just not as clearly. Let's start with something simple: energy. As we age, our cells don't produce energy as efficiently. Mitochondria, the little power plants inside every cell, slow down. The result? You feel tired, not just physically, but mentally. And when your body is running on low power, intimacy is often the first thing to be put on pause. Next comes blood flow. Most people don't realize how essential circulation is, not just for your heart, but for your entire sense of vitality. Good blood flow supports arousal, sensitivity, and responsiveness. But things like high blood pressure, lack of movement, or years of sitting too much, they all reduce circulation, quietly starving your body of what it needs to feel alive and connected. Then there's medication. Many older adults take prescriptions for blood pressure, depression, cholesterol, or sleep. These are important, even life-saving, but they often come with side effects that affect libido, mood, and physical responsiveness. Unfortunately, most people aren't warned about this. They just think they've lost the spark, when in fact, it's their body reacting to chemical changes. And perhaps the most overlooked cause of all, disconnection from your body, from your partner, and from yourself. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional. When you stop feeling seen or start thinking of yourself as past your prime, your mind sends signals to the body, this isn't important anymore, and the body listens. But here's the good news: these systems aren't broken. They're just waiting to be activated again. With small shifts in diet, movement, communication, and awareness, you can gently bring them back online. You see, The human body is remarkably responsive even after 60, even after 70. It just needs the right signal, and once you understand what that signal is, everything begins to change. So what are those signals, and how can you use them to bring back desire gently and naturally? In the next chapter, we'll explore the first 3 areas you can begin working on today. No pressure, no guilt, just simple, powerful habits that restore connection and confidence from the inside out. Restoring intimacy after 60 isn't about doing more. It's about doing things differently. It's about approaching your body, your needs, and your connection with a little more care and a little less judgment. Let's look at the 3 key areas that most affect your desire and emotional closeness, and how small, consistent changes can make all the difference. First, the body. It's no secret that the foods we eat affect how we feel, but what you may not realize is that certain nutrients directly support hormonal balance, circulation, and energy, all of which are essential for intimacy. Start with zinc. This mineral is a key player in maintaining healthy testosterone and estrogen levels for both men and women. It supports nerve function, immune strength, and energy metabolism. You can find it in foods like pumpkin seeds, lentils, eggs, and shellfish. Then there's magnesium, a gentle yet powerful mineral that helps with sleep, muscle relaxation, and emotional regulation. It also plays a role in arousal and sensitivity, helping your body feel safe and responsive. And let's not forget omega-3 fatty acids. Found in fatty fish like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds, these nutrients reduce inflammation, support hormone production, and even boost mood. A well-nourished body is a more responsive body, plain and simple. Second, the mind. Emotional intimacy starts with how you see yourself, and unfortunately, many people begin to believe the narrative that age makes them invisible or less attractive. But the truth is, intimacy isn't about looking like you did at 25. It's about confidence, presence, and openness. One of the most powerful things you can do is practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself gently. Recognize that your needs and desires are valid, now more than ever. If you've spent years ignoring them, it might feel strange to reconnect, but give it time. You're worth the effort. Journaling can help, so can meditation, or even simple moments of reflection. Ask yourself, when do I feel most connected? What kind of touch or attention makes me feel alive? These aren't selfish questions. They're the beginning of understanding what intimacy means to you now, in this stage of life. And third, the connection. Too often, couples fall into routines. Touch becomes functional, not affectionate. Communication becomes about errands, not emotions. And slowly, distance grows. The antidote: start small. A hug that lasts 5 extra seconds, holding hands during a walk, looking your partner in the eye and saying, "I miss being close to you." You don't have to fix everything overnight. You just have to be willing to reopen the door. Because the truth is, the body remembers. And when you give it permission, it responds. Now you might be wondering, where do I even begin? The answer isn't in overhauling your life, it's in building one small habit at a time. And in the next chapter, we'll look at real people who've done just that, and how their lives began to shift in ways they never expect. Not every journey looks the same, but some stories stay with you. Stories of quiet change, of courage that doesn't shout but shows up every morning, of people who thought the door had closed and then found it opening again. Let me share a few of those stories with you, because sometimes knowing what's possible for others reminds us what's still possible for ourselves. Margaret, 68, had been widowed for 10 years. She'd stopped thinking of intimacy as something that belonged in her life. That was a different version of me, she would say. But then, after a health scare, she began walking daily, just 10 minutes around the block. She changed her breakfast, added more protein, more water, nothing dramatic. But within weeks, something shifted. I didn't expect to feel awake, she said. I wasn't looking for romance. I was looking for myself, and I found her again. Then there's Victor, 72, retired, a bit stiff in the mornings, used to laugh off his fading desire as just old age. But deep down, it bothered him. Not because of sex itself, but because he missed feeling close to his wife. He started stretching in the mornings, began having open conversations, short, honest, sometimes awkward. They even started cooking meals together again, sharing laughter that had been missing for years. It wasn't one big change, he said. It was dozens of tiny ones. And one day, I looked at her and thought, I feel young again. Not because my body was different, but because we were connected. And then there's Elise and Clara. Both in their 60s, both divorced, both friends. They started a weekly ritual, a walk, some tea, and a conversation about things no one else talked about. Fears, memories, desire, loneliness, and joy. Through these talks, they both realized something. Closeness doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in the truth, in not hiding, in being seen. Every one of these stories has a different shape, but they all have one thing in common, a decision. Not to chase youth, not to reverse time, but to reclaim the parts of themselves they thought were gone. And maybe that's where your story begins too. Not with a grand gesture, not with a perfect plan, but with one moment of curiosity, one whisper of, what if I tried? In the next and final chapter, we'll bring everything together. A gentle, practical guide, 5 simple steps to help you reconnect, rebuild, and reawaken.
Let's bring it all together, no pressure,
No overwhelm, just a gentle path forward, one that honors where you are today and opens the door to where you still want to go. Here are 5 simple steps to help you reconnect with your body, your energy, and your sense of closeness. Starting now. Step 1. Start your morning with kindness. When you wake up, don't rush, don't reach for your phone. Just sit quietly for a moment, take a few deep breaths, then drink a glass of water, warm if you prefer, and eat something nourishing. A boiled egg, a small bowl of oatmeal with berries, something simple, something real. This tells your body, I care for you, I am listening. Step 2. Feed your hormones naturally. Include foods that gently support your hormonal balance. Zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds and lentils, omega-3s from fish, walnuts or flax, leafy greens for magnesium. These are not trends. They're quiet allies that keep your inner systems humming. Energy, circulation, even desire. Step 3. Move your body with purpose. You don't need intense workouts. You need intention. A 10-minute walk, gentle stretches, lifting your heels while brushing your teeth, circling your arms to wake up your shoulders. Every small movement tells your nervous system, I am alive. I am here. Step 4. Reconnect emotionally with yourself and others. Ask yourself, when was the last time I felt seen? Truly seen. Maybe it starts with writing your thoughts. Maybe it's reaching out to a friend. Maybe it's telling your partner, I miss being close. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's an invitation to be heard, to be held, to be human. Step 5. Protect your quiet. We live in noise, media, distractions, rushing thoughts, but intimacy needs silence. Not loneliness, silence, the kind that lets you hear your own needs. So turn off the TV a little earlier. Light a candle. Sit with yourself, not to fix anything, but to feel. These 5 steps won't transform everything overnight. They're not a cure, they're a rhythm, a way of coming back into alignment with yourself. And when that happens, everything else becomes possible. Closeness, confidence, softness, strength. Because you are not too old. You are not broken. You are becoming still. If this message speaks to you, consider subscribing or following for more gentle guidance. Together, we'll keep walking, one quiet, powerful step at a time.